I'm going to be talking about the pros to breastfeeding and the cons to formula, and some other tips that just really helped me while I was breastfeeding my two boys. So the first one is immunity. As an adult, I have a pretty developed beneficial bacteria in my body, or my skin, most people do, to protect them from the common colds and germs and things like that. And so when I breastfeed my baby, my newborn baby who's just brand new to the world, who hasn't had time to develop his immunities yet, who hasn't been exposed to the colds and germs that I have, I can pass all of that down to him. And not only while I'm breastfeeding, but I can pass on to him immunities that will last him for the rest of his life. A decreased chance of getting Alzheimer's and diabetes and Crohn's disease. There's a whole host of cancers that I can help him ward against by just breastfeeding. So that's a huge one for me. It has the perfect fat to carbs ratio. Babies need a lot of fat and they need carbs in perfect ratio, so it already sorts that out. And the other thing is hormones. Your body creates amazing hormones when you breastfeed. So when you're getting up every night, normally if you're getting up 3 or 4 times a night, or 2 or 3 times a night, whatever you're doing, your body's adrenaline and cortisol, the stress hormone, will be through the roof, and you'll be like, we didn't get enough sleep last night. But if you're breastfeeding, your body's like, oh, hang on, she's breastfeeding. There's a reason why she's getting up. It produces more levels of serotonin, which is a relaxing hormone. And so your cortisol may be up, but your serotonin's up as well, and it kind of balances it out. And so you feel so much better. I had a friend, she decided not to breastfeed, and she thought all of this stress that she was feeling, because she was still getting up every night, giving her baby a bottle, she thought all of this stress was because of social anxiety that society tells you need to breastfeed, when it was actually her own hormones telling her, well, not telling her, it was just her cortisol levels were really high because she was getting up every night and she wasn't breastfeeding. There was no balancing of the serotonin. So there's that. Also, you get a concoction of hormones, not only in labor and not only at birth, but after, when you're breastfeeding, you get all these amazing hormones that help you bond with your baby. So if for some reason you can't breastfeed, don't stress. Cuddle your baby a lot, skin to skin contact. There's heaps of other ways to bond, but breastfeeding, I'm not going to lie, and the research doesn't lie either, is a huge one. So breastfeed if you can. The cons to formula, and I'm not having a go at formula, I'm just sharing the truth from what I've read from health professionals and people who are much more medically minded than I am. I've just read their stuff. Not Christine Cronut, Sally Fallon. She wrote Nourishing Traditions. She's got a whole chapter on formula. I really recommend getting her book. It's helped me so much, but I'll just share what she shared in shortened version, which is soy. Soy is highly processed, really processed, and unfermented soy is really high in properties that mimic estrogen. Estrogen is a wonderful hormone. It's a wonderful chemical that women have in abundance and men have in small amounts. When you have too much estrogen before puberty, because it mimics estrogen, they're finding this in the African American communities in America. Girls that used to be getting their period in the 60s around 15, 16, now they're getting them at 11 and 12 years old. Some even at 9 years old. Their puberty starts at 9, which is kind of horrific, way too early. They're finding little boys develop breasts for no reason. And they're finding a correlation between soy formula and these horrible findings. So I really recommend steer clear of all soy products as much as you can. There's even formula, the Sally Fallon book has formula recipes that you can even make yourself that are so easy to make. So there's that. The other con to formula is the synthetic vitamins. Not to mention all of the fillers, but I'll just say the vitamins. Your body is an amazing machine. It runs on vegetables, fruits, meats, dairy products. It runs on food. Good food. It runs perfectly on good food. It takes so let's just use beta carotene for instance in carrots, the orange, Actually, beta-carotene is in lots of foods, but mostly in orange foods. So pawpaw, carrots, sweet potato is loaded with beta-carotene, and your body takes the beta-carotene and converts it into vitamin A and uses it for whatever it needs. By the way, vitamin A is very good for your eyesight, very good for your brain, very good for your hormones, loaded with good things. When you get synthetic vitamins, it bypasses the production. Your body uses those things to make its own vitamins, except for vitamin D and a few others, but it bypasses that, so it goes straight into the bloodstream and goes where it needs to be. And sometimes they can be very good, actually. They don't do a good job as natural vitamins, but they don't do too badly. The problem is that your body stops producing vitamins, and so when babies go off that formula, they get tummy bugs, they get headaches, they get rash around their mouth, they get eczema, and their parents are beside themselves and don't know what's going on, and they think they've got a food allergy, and sometimes they do. But oftentimes it's because of those synthetic vitamins have been doing the job and their bodies have forgotten, and because your body is efficient and your body will stop producing vitamins it doesn't need if it's getting it in a tablet. So I just recommend just eat real food. Just eat real good food, and especially for a baby on formula, I really recommend just really researching your formula, and if you can, look into making your own with real food, because it can be done. Anyway, I'm going to get off that and go on to my other tips, which are drink lots of water and snack. Sometimes after birth you're really tired and you don't really feel like eating. My appetite just went whoosh, didn't want to eat, just ate a bit of dinner, and that was it. It was horrible, because my milk production went down. So I recommend buying those packaged cheeses, packaged yogurts. I know it's awful and you think, oh, you know, I shouldn't be doing this, I should be making my own food. And if you're really organized, meal plan and stack up your freezer with snacks and meals for dinner. But if you're not organized, just spend the money and buy food and make sure that it's easy and yummy and that you just eat food. So drink water and make sure you're eating good foods like yogurts and cheeses and salamis. Try and buy salami from an actual deli instead of salami from Safeway, because they've got lots of normally lots of MSG and meat fillers and flavor addings and color addings, and so yeah, try and get it from a real deli if you can, like a real salami. Anyway. I recommend doing the nipple check and stocking up. Buy some nipple shields if you can, just in preparation. That way you don't have to think about it. If in the hospital your baby's really struggling, it can make a difference. Anyway, and the last one is breast aversion. So sometimes babies develop breast aversion because, one, your milk production is down and they're really hungry and just no milk there, and so they can get frustrated with that. But the most common one is when your breast milk is so fast that it shoots the back of their mouth and it feels like someone's got a hose to their mouth on full bore, and it makes them feel like they're drowning. And so they're so hungry, so they keep giving it a shot, but they keep ripping off because it's just a painful memory. Even though the milk letdown may have way gone past, and it's been 10 minutes since the letdown came out, sometimes they can develop a breast aversion because of that. It's a bad memory. So if you've got a really strong letdown, which is just a lot of milk at the beginning, it can be squirting out, get a cloth, let it finish after like 30 seconds, and then put them on, and they'll finish the feed and there'll be no breast aversion. So I had to learn that the hard way. That's one of my tips. My son, poor thing, my first son, lived with that for months, because I really didn't know what I was doing, and I was so tired. I wasn't in the right space to research. I was so tired. Even when I wasn't tired, I was tired. So with my second son, it's been different, and I've learned a lot of things. So yeah, I really recommend just making sure that the feeding is not forced and you're not really pushing it on them, and you're stressing, and because they won't feed, and you're like, oh, if they don't feed, they're going to starve, and if they starve, they're going to die. Just relax. Try again in 20 minutes. My biggest tip is just to relax the whole way through. during labour, during feeding, during life. Just relax. I think that's all. Yep, that's all my tips. I'm all done. All right.